The first game is the reigning national champion, number 3, Ohio State, playing host to number 1, Texas at 11 a.m. Ohio State is 2.5-point favorites.
Obi, this is easy for me. So, a couple things. Texas's defense is still pretty loaded. Colin Simmons, what did he have? 9 sacks last year. Ohio State is starting a brand new quarterback in Julian Sayin, and a first-time starting QB has not beat a number 1 team since 1984, Jim Harbaugh. Look, I love Caleb Downs. I know he's a difference maker.
He's a good player, but heck of a safety.
But I think Texas, unfortunately, goes on the road and they win. So I'm taking Texas.
Yeah, I have to admit that I think Texas is going to win that game.
Yep.
And most games are, at least in my opinion, are decided by 3 points or more. So I see Texas winning that. I think it'll be a good game, but I think I'm going to have to go with. If I was putting my own money on it, I think I'd have to, because I don't want to lose any of my money. I think I'd have to put it on Texas.
Yep, I'm going Texas.
The next game, number 8, Alabama heads to Doak Campbell Stadium to take on Florida State at 2:30 on ABC. Alabama is 13.5-point favorites.
Bama.
Yeah, I'm taking Bama. Now, I will say this, Ty Simpson making his first start on the road, that is interesting, but I don't think, first off, the talent disparity between the two teams, Alabama's got significantly more talent, and Florida State is trying to rebuild after a horrendous season. And look, their quarterback may be a cool story if it works out, but the amount of talking that Castellanos has done that Bama's been listening to, they're gunning for him.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Here's this 5'9" quarterback transfer from Boston College.
Bill O'Brien guy.
And you're going to be talking all that, Nick Saban's not going to be there to save you, and you can't stop me, and all this. I'm thinking,
but what if?
What if? Yeah.
If on Monday he did it, that's going to be a fun story to talk about.
It will, but you know
he ain't
what?
going to do it.
I'm not believing it's going to happen. I believe that Alabama's going to go out there and just pulverize them.
Well, it all starts with the head man, Coach Mike Elko, and we all know what he can do on the defensive side of the football. And quite honestly, I don't even think we've seen it yet as a head coach. We've clearly seen it as a defensive coordinator. He was probably the best in America when he was down there in College Station last time. So if we take steps closer to that, I don't think we were anywhere near that necessarily last season. But if we get the defense righted, for me this year, David, it's all about the offense. And I know there's some people still questioning it, but year 2, Colin Klein, year 1 really for Marcel Reed as our starting quarterback, bringing back everybody on the offensive line, bringing back everybody at running back. I'm hearing great things about Kevin Concepcion. I think A&M is really, really going to surprise some people. I got them going to the college football playoff, and I think it starts this weekend with, I think A&M, I think the strong suit is going to be the offense in the opener here.
What could be a potential roadblock for A&M to be a potential playoff team / right below a playoff team?
I think maybe the defense not being where I kind of anticipate it being under Mike Elko in year 2. Last year was the secondary. He says, we've got that solved. Now all of a sudden, what about the defensive line? Which, on paper, we had one of the best defensive lines in the country last year. I don't think they quite lived up to that billing. I'm not saying they were, awful by any means, but I don't think they were quite that good. Even though they put several guys in the NFL, I don't know if they quite were that in college. Now the defensive line is completely rebuilt, and I hear good things about the guys they brought in. But, David, I hear good things about basically every player that's been brought in across the Southeastern Conference. Who's going to do it on the field if the defensive line doesn't hold up their end of the bargain? I think by the end of the year, I hope this isn't the case, but maybe Coach Elko's pounding the table for, the defensive line will be better in year 3 like he was the secondary after year 1.
Good first matchup against UTSA because they're good enough to get your attention.
Yeah, I think, and then some. I think if you play bad, they can beat you. And I don't think I'm not predicting that. Spoiler alert, I don't think A&M will cover what is it by your thing today? Is it 24?
24.5 is what we have.
Seems very large to me for what UTSA is bringing back, at least offensively. the unknown of it all defensively and a game one. I think if UTSA played the bottom, if their SEC schedule was 9-16, they might go 0-8. They'd be in some competitive games. Maybe not on the top end of that, but on the bottom end, when you think of the Arkansas and the Mississippi State, I don't know what Kentucky and Vandy would be, who knows? OU might be in there. But with that said, like, you don't have to be first of all, some people predict A&M in that bottom 8, towards the higher end of it. Some people are seeing predict A&M 9th or 10th. I don't. But even if you're not in that group, but you play like it on a given Saturday, which some of these teams in that 2 to 7 will, if you play not at your A game, UTSA will give you I think they're equipped. This particular team is equipped to give you a problem, because I think if you're off your game defensively and there's some busts and misassignments in game one, they can take advantage, and that can result in drives being extended and points. And if your offense is all, so I think it's the word dangerous I wouldn't quite use, but I think it's more than just like, oh, hey, it's tougher than your usual gimme non-conference game to open it. Like, say, had it been like New Mexico State in game one, or some of these terrible New Mexico teams. This is actually a capable team led by a more than capable quarterback with a bunch of veterans up front on the O-line, a bunch of old dudes.
Not to just echo everything you guys have said, at the end of the season, I mean, I was pretty disgusted with the way the season ended. It was hard to get motivated to believe that this team was going to be a better 10-win type team after the way they finished. But as the offseason's gone on, as I've slowly sipped the Kool-Aid, I've continued to be more positive and have higher hopes for this season. And I think really what it comes down to for me personally is I look at this team, and yeah, they've added some good pieces. I think they've added some nice receivers and guys that are going to be explosive in the passing game, is the amount of production coming back and just the amount of veterans that are going to be on this team, and especially up front on the offensive line. To me, when you can, in college football especially, when you bring back a team with that many veterans on it, you make yourself a threat to winning any kind of championship, whether it's SEC or even national championship, because you take an offensive line with that much experience, a quarterback with a year under his belt, 2 running backs with experience, and now you've added these pieces at receiver. You have an offense that's made to go in and win some big games on the road. And that's what we're going to have to do this year, whether it's during the season or even in the playoffs.
That's an outstanding point. That and I think having a veteran quarterback that's like Marcel was 0-2 down the stretch in road games last year, but Marcel also in his first career start went into the swamp and won.
Yep.
He went into Jerry World, made plays in the fourth quarter when they won a close game there. He led a team back from 17-3 down at South Carolina to take the lead at night. And again, it's a 4-quarter game. I'm not saying like give this guy a trophy but he showed poise and resiliency in the face of that South Carolina sandstorm. And then he did the same thing at Auburn, where he really played well enough for them to win that game, led them on what should have been a game-winning drive after being down 21-0. So this guy's battle-tested. He's shown that he can handle the environment. And like you said, that veteran offensive front, damn, man. Like, and by the way, on the D-line, a lot of that, too, we're talking about Albert Regis, seniors played a ton. DJ Hicks, Jr., played a lot of football. Cassius Howell, senior, played a ton of college football. He's in year 2 at A&M.